So the first question is easy. How do you think men are portrayed in the media? Are we discriminated against in this way, and are we held up to those standards?
I don't know. If you think about, a lot of the different kinds of, I'm thinking film, I guess. I mean, it depends on what it is. I mean, if you think about, why do I always forget this? The movie about going to Las Vegas. Hangover. You think about some of those guys, they certainly are not Sylvester Stallone and all that. So I think it depends on what the genre is. But yeah, there definitely is that. I think there's been a portrayal in the media of men as being, they're the protectors, they're the strong ones, they're out in front. The women are maybe behind them. And yeah, I mean, we don't all look like Tarzan. Or Arnold Schwarzenegger or whatever the case may be. And so, I think there is something to the portrayals, but when you look at it more broadly, it kind of depends on what the medium is. Sometimes you want a guy who looks like, a 40-year-old accountant with an expanding, waist and all that.
So then with that, do you feel like most men are pressured into trying to fulfill those expectations that the media gives us?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I think it's probably not as much pressure as it is for women, but I think it's there. There are gender stereotypes that men have to conform to as well. And, it's interesting because there actually are psychologists who look at this and who are looking at the, it's sometimes called men's psychology. And, they basically argue that, because we have to conform to these stereotypes, in some ways it limits us too. It limits what we're, what is open to us, and what we can show and we can express. The famous "there's no crying in baseball" sort of line, in there. So, I think it does. I think there is that pressure to do it, to conform to those stereotypes. I don't think it's as strong, maybe, but maybe that's because I'm a man myself, and so you don't realize what it's,
right.
Like otherwise.
So then with that, all the conforming to what we're supposed to be in a sense, do you think it's a lot harder with younger men than it is with older men and teenagers?
Yeah, probably. I think you could make that argument for a couple of reasons. Usually when we're older, we have kind of we've established ourselves, and we've got family, we've got a career path, we've got things like that going. So we kind of are where we are. Whereas when you're a little bit younger, there's still a lot of changes out in front of you. You're maybe still trying to find a sense of identity. So it probably is more intense, I would say, when you are an adolescent, when you are a young adult, and although you're going to go through changes throughout your lifetime, those changes we get older. A little review for your test here. Tend to be more related to career and family changes, and not so much to necessarily the way we see ourselves. Although, that can sometimes happen. You think about people who are unemployed, and unemployment does seem to hit. When you look around the world, unemployment seems to hit men harder than it does women in a lot of societies, because that stereotype that we are to be the breadwinners. And so if I lose my job because of an economic downturn, I've let my family down, I'm a failure, etc. And in that case, those stereotypes can be, kind of harmful, I think, to us, and lead us in other ways. But like I say, otherwise, it's just, sometimes it does limit you. I'm reminded, for example, of it's about a 30-year-old movie now, but there's a movie called The Turning Point, or something like that, way back in the early 80s, and it was about a family of ballet dancers, and they're, a husband and a wife, both of whom were in ballet, and they had this daughter. Well, the woman had to basically give up her performing career because she became pregnant with their daughter, who is now getting ready to sign with the company. And I remember that, she was very angry with her husband because she felt like she had to sacrifice her career so that he could prove he wasn't gay. That sort of thing. you know, because, you know, look, I've got this child, I'm married and all that. And so I think from that perspective, you can kind of understand that. But
all right. Well, that's all we had.
all right.
Thanks for your time.
All right.
Thank you.